this is Bob Mason from FX Empire, and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple's XRP. Be looking at the MACD's moving averages, day support, resistance, and pivot levels, and the Fibonacci's. It is Wednesday, the 18th of August. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against US dollar, looking at the hourly candlesticks, choppy start to the day. Going to need to see Bitcoin move through the pivot at 45,434 to take a run at the first major resistance level of 46,428. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Bitcoin to break out from 46,000 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level on yesterday's high at 47,167 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, should see Bitcoin target 49,000 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 48,160. Ready to move through the pivot, we'll bring the first major support level at 43,702 into play. Barring an extended sell on the day, Bitcoin should still well clear the second major support level at 42,708. At the MACD's, slight narrowing of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day, but no signs of a bullish cross, so keep an eye on that for further direction. Any widening likely to weigh. On the EMAs, more significantly, after yesterday's bearish cross, we're seeing the 50 pull back from the 100 and narrow on the 200, suggesting further downside ahead. So key would be to move through the pivot at 45,434 and back through to 46,000 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Ready to do that. Support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against US dollar, mixed start to the day. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 3099 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 3205. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Ethereum to break out from 3150 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 3293.15 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ethereum target the 23.6% fib at 3369 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 3400. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 2904 into play. Barring an extended sell on the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 2800 levels. Second major support level sits at 2798. Looking at the MACD's, slight narrowing of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day. No signs of a bullish cross, so keep an eye on that. That's suggested further downside ahead. On the EMAs, also bearish 50 pulling back from the 100 and closing in on the 200. So look out for a possible narrowing and a bearish cross 50 through the 200. That would bring support levels into play. So key would be to move through the pivot 3099 and through 3150 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failures to do that, support levels will be in play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, bearish start. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 174 to take a run at the 23.6% fib at 178 and the first major resistance level at 179. Support from the broader market will be needed for Litecoin to break out from 175s. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 184.45 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, should see Litecoin take a run at 200 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 190. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 163 back into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid sub 160s and the second major support level at 157. Looking at the MACD's, widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day, that's supporting this early downside and coming off the back of yesterday's pullback. On the EMAs, also bearish, seeing a possible bearish cross 50 through the 100. That's going to sink Litecoin deeper into the red. So key would be to move through the pivot at 174 and break through to 175 levels to bring the 23.6% fib and resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will remain in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, also bearish start. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 1.1409 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 1.1864. Support from the broader market will be needed for Ripple's XRP to break out from 1.5 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 1.22965 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, should see Ripple's XRP target 1.3 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1.2752. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the 38.2% fib at 1.0659 and the first major support level at 1.0521 back into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 1.0 levels. Second major support level at 1.0066 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, we have a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day. That's supporting this morning's pullback off the back of yesterday's slide. On the EMAs, we're seeing the 50 narrow in on the 100 and the 200. Look out for a bearish cross 50 through the 100. That would bring support levels back into play. So key would be to move through the pivot at 1.409 and back through to 1.5 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will remain in play.